Welcome back to Extra Time Futbol. And what a day of games we had today. We had a lot of goals. Well, for the most part, we had one game that was a dud, but for the most part, we did have a lot of goals today, man. And another great day goes into the World Cup catalog. The second round is turning out to be more entertaining than the first one in certain aspects. Yeah, for some teams, it might get even worse, or it might get more tedious to play as well, as more teams are just trying to edge by with a point here and there, but we are getting close now to true elimination form. So we are in that point of the World Cup, and let's get started with today's game. First, we have Spain versus Saudi Arabia. The first thing that has to be mentioned with this game, Lamine Yamal. I said he was a difference maker. He has to be starting for things to get going, and he made the difference from the first moment he touched the ball. Not even a minute in, and he was already creating the first chance of the game. He had things going, and in the 10th minute of the game, I believe it was, he breaks the deadlock. He gets Spain's first goal, 18 years old as well, gets his first World Cup goal at 18 years of age. I know he's not the youngest one to ever do it. I think that record, if I'm not mistaken, still belongs to Pele, and very hard for that record to be beat, as he did it at 17 days, and I forget how many days exact. But Lamine Yamal, that's a world-class baller right there. It's scary to think that he's still only 18 years old, and he's already a Euros champion, and he's already scoring goals for the national team at the World Cup. And yes, I know it is just Saudi Arabia. They're not a stronger opposition as you would expect, but still scoring at the World Cup is impressive in its own right. Lamine Yamal is already making things happen at 18 years of age, and it's scary to think how he's going to come into the next World Cup. As for Spain's other striker, who finally got on the score sheet this tournament, Oyarzabal, really had a change of games from the previous one. If I'm not mistaken, he won the last game like the first player since 1966 to be on the field and not touch the ball for at least 30 minutes of a game, which is a crazy, crazy stat if you think about it. Like, imagine being on the field with one of the most dominant teams against, no disrespect again, but Cape Verde, and you're playing against a possession-heavy team that likes to pass the ball to everybody and not touching it for 30 minutes. That, I mean, how many other teams would you have been benched after something like that? But no, he comes back today. He gets 2 goals. Yeah, they weren't the toughest of goals, but you know what they say? In order to score goals, you still have to be there in those spots. You have to be in the correct spot to get the goals that you need. And he performed today. He got his 2 goals. Spain definitely had a better showing, and then that the first half, it was all done. They had control of the game. They were already 3-0 up in the 24th minute. I mean, why are you even gonna try even more to try to get your players, possibly injured? Just play out the game, let them come to you. Saudi Arabia is not really going to attack you for fear of taking 7-8 goals against them. So they're just going to try to sit back and not maybe hope for a counter here and there, but they're not really going to try to make things happen. Spain were fortunate again there to get another goal in the second half. Cucurella was the one that took the shot off. It went off of the keeper, but unfortunately for the keeper, his save was ricocheted back in by the defender that was standing in front of him. But overall, definitely a better showing from Spain today. Again, we still haven't seen them against strong opposition, so that is still yet to be seen how they will really perform when the time comes. But still a better showing from Spain. And as I mentioned, the factor here has to be Yamal. This guy, this kid actually he's a beast. He makes things happen. And he has to be a starter every game. And if he's fit to play, there's no reason why he should be sitting. With him on the field, Spain definitely has a game changer on their hands. Moving over from that dominant Spain win, we go to the one dud of the day. It was the Belgium versus Iran game. Now, I guess you could say I was fortunate enough to not be able to watch this one due to it being Father's Day. I did spend the day with my dad, so I was away from the TV. I wasn't able to really I didn't catch this game at all. I did have to catch up through the highlights. So in a way, again, fortunate there to miss out on this one. But again, to anybody watching, if you're a dad, happy Father's Day to you. I hope that you were able to spend the day well with your family, that it was a good overall day for you. But going back to the game, as I mentioned, I had to catch up through highlights. There wasn't much to this game. Each team had 2 clear goal-scoring opportunities, at least from what I saw in the highlights. Both teams had their keepers making great saves. Courtois with 2 amazing saves to keep Belgium in the game, and the Iranian keeper, I apologize, I'm not sure how to pronounce the name, but what a save, especially the first one that he makes around, I believe it's the 60th minute, the single-handed save right there, like open goal. He's already beat. You're looking at the Belgian player about to shoot, and it looks like it's going to go in, but what a way to extend his arm and get that shot blocked. But overall, other than that, great performance from the Iranian keeper. Definitely the man of the match of this game from what I saw. Nothing much happened. I mean, when you're seeing the highlights and things that are being shown are just deflected crosses that go to the keeper for nothing, that really tells you all there is to the game. What a way to get sent off by Ngoy, the Belgian defender. Like, what a loss of concentration in a moment like that. Like, how you're in the World Cup. This is the most crucial moment. This is when you need to be more locked in, and you're making errors like rookie mistakes like that in these high tense moments. He's definitely not at the standard of being at the World Cup if you're not fully mentally there. And by the looks of it, neither are Belgium. I am not impressed with them. And you know what? My apologies to Iran and New Zealand. I said that Belgium and Egypt should be topping this group regardless. I was right about one of those. Egypt is definitely doing their job, but Belgium, I have no idea what they're playing. They still haven't scored a goal at all in this tournament. No Belgian player has scored a goal. Now, I want to say it again as that. No Belgian player, because I know Belgium had a goal scored, but it was an own goal from the Egyptian defender. So, again, Belgium still can't find the back of the net. They did come close to winning it with that shot that just went far wide at the end of the game. But at least from what I saw from these highlights, Iran definitely did look like they deserved more. They could have walked away with the win. And they were just unfortunate to barely be offside on that disallowed goal. Yeah, the player was offside, but he was just barely offside. Taremi definitely, if he just pushes his body a little bit more forward, he could be a little bit more fortunate on that play, but unlucky to walk away with the disallowed goal. Still a good point for Iran. Have high hopes for them against Egypt. Now seeing how Belgium is playing, I wouldn't put it past New Zealand to beat them. I can see Belgium coming dead last of this group, and I know that contradicts what I said about them topping this group, but I will be more than okay with admitting that I'm wrong on this side, and I can definitely see them walking away last place of the group if New Zealand can play their game and can definitely grind out a win against them. But that concludes it for this dud of a game. Let's move over to Uruguay versus Cape Verde. Coming into this one, Uruguay made modifications to the starting lineup. They definitely got rid of the two striker formation and they went to singular striker by benching Darwin Nunez and going just straight up with Viñas. They, at least from what I was able to see in the few minutes of the game that I was able to catch, I didn't really see him getting too involved as he did last time. Cape Verde were the ones to strike first with a long shot free kick, and for them, ecstatic, for what a goal by Pina. Like, what a long shot, what power. But I do believe Muslera could have done better. Muslera was, but I don't, he could have done better, but I don't want to pin it all on him because I could see why he was too ahead. By the distance, you're not really expecting a shot, you're more expecting a cross, so I could see why he was more advanced in the goal. Do believe if he was more on his line or a little bit more back, that shot doesn't go in. Just, the power of it and catching him that push forward, that's what causes it to go in. Overall, though, still a good goal for Cape Verde, and what a way for them to go 1-0 up in the game. Uruguay didn't take as much as they did in the previous game to get back on the equalizing side. Again, Maxi Araujo with another goal off of a second chance effort. Again, you have to be there to score those goals. Yeah, they may come off as easy sometimes, like his was with the open net. But again, you have to be in the right moments to do so. And what a way for him to get his second World Cup goal. They weren't just satisfied with the equalizer, though. Just at the very last second of the first half of the added time, Uruguay was able to strike again and go up 2-1 with a goal from Canobio. And, they, at that point, if you're watching as a neutral or as an Uruguayan fan or a Cape Verde fan, you probably all thought, okay, Uruguay already took the lead. Cape Verde doesn't have much attack. There's no way they get back into this one. Uruguay is just going to run away with it. If anything, they're just going to amplify their goal lead. Well, that was not the case in this one. Cape Verde was able to equalize again in the 60th minute. And what a howler by the defender and Muslera again. Like, Muslera, what are you doing in no man's territory that far out? Cáceres is on the other side. Yeah, he wasn't going to get on the ball, but at least have faith in your defender to try to take on the attacker one-on-one. I have no idea why Muslera comes out, but the defender as well. What are you doing? Passing the ball through the middle that weak? Like, you just put Cape Verde back in the game. You had this game under control. You were up 2-1. I don't believe Cape Verde gets back into this without your mistake. Like, you could potentially just cause your nation qualification. Uruguay is going up against Spain, and although I still want to see Uruguay pass, get a point or maybe even a win against Spain, it's much harder against them than it is against these other two opponents. Like, you're leaving a lot to be left desired against Saudi Arabia and Cape Verde. Uruguay, bro, what are you doing? Like, these are two nations, with all due respect to them, that you are supposed to put away, that you are supposed to beat. You are leaving a bad name for yourself, for your players, for Conmebol. Conmebol has been really underwhelming so far in this tournament. I expected more from them, but these other nations are just doing their part. Props to Cape Verde though for finding that equalizer and for staying in the game for the rest of it. And you could definitely see what that meant for the fans, for the Cape Verde fans. Like, they were cheering that second goal. You could see the euphoria in their celebrations. Like, that meant everything to them. And what a point for them. And I know Uruguay was able to take the lead again, but they were offside. And oh man, like, you're gonna take the corner, try to get out of the line faster. Like, it's unfortunate that it was called offside because his foot was out of the line, but it's still a valid offside. Technically you were still ahead of the last defender right there in an offside sense. So I know why it was validated as offsides. But man, Uruguay, what a way to let this game go again. But Cape Verde, big props for you guys. Two draws against two big nations. One big draw with keeping the 0 in the back against Spain, and a 2-2 draw against Uruguay, a big name from Conmebol. Big ups to Wozinha for finally being able to get his mom into the U.S. to watch him perform. And props again to all the Cape Verde team. They played their part. They did their thing. They put in a shift. Got two big draws. They have one more game against Saudi Arabia. I will be rooting for them to get that win and pass as either the second or third best team of this group. And last but not least, we move on to the last game of the day. This game did turn out to be pretty good, pretty interesting, and pretty exciting. Egypt versus New Zealand. Big win for Egypt, and I believe this was their first World Cup win too. And what a way to get your win. I know it was New Zealand, but New Zealand showed to be a good opponent as they faced off Iran and battled it out for that 2-2 draw. And they were doing their part today. They got a goal early on in the 15th minute. Sermon, great strike from a header from the corner that came in. He put it in with precision, with power. Nothing the keeper could really do about that. New Zealand was doing their part. They were defending, they were hitting the counters. Yeah, maybe they weren't getting the opportunities offensively the rest of the game to get that second goal, that decisive one. And I do believe if they would have gotten that second one, they would have put this game away. But what of a hell of a response and performance from Egypt. When it was looking grim for them, it wasn't looking like things were going to be done and they might have to suffer that 1-0 loss or, potentially the late game equalizer if it came on later on. Zico came in with a strong header in the 58th minute, puts it away, gives that momentum shift to Egypt, and Mo Salah, not that far late, not that much after the first goal, comes up with this 2-1 up to completely turn the momentum on this game. New Zealand was really playing for the win. They were defending. They were trying to preserve all 3 points. It was unfortunate for them to concede the equalizer, but once they conceded the equalizer, you could tell they were like, still okay. Well, we're okay with the draw. Let's keep playing our game. Let's keep being defensive. Let's keep trying to hit them on the counter and see what can happen. But no, Mo Salah with the good, beautiful build-up play goal puts it away, puts them up 2-1, completely ruins the game for New Zealand, and then New Zealand just going into desperation mode, trying to salvage a point still from this. Egypt was able to go on the counter again afterwards, get a late corner around the 82nd minute, and Trezeguet with another header to put it away, go up 3-1. Egypt's overall performance really impressed me. Even when they were down 1-0, they still kept insisting, they kept trying. I really like Marmoush's involvement in the offense. I'm really upset and not upset, sorry, but more sad that he wasn't able to get a goal, as I do believe he has deserved one. But I am still confident that he is able to bag another one or two in this tournament. Like, I do see them getting him more involved and getting him that goal. I was very, very happy for Mo Salah to get his goal, and having the Egyptian connection that I have to my family right there, I am very happy that they got the win, and Egypt is able to celebrate. What a win for them. The Pharaohs did what they had to do, and I'm really hoping that they top this group. I will see them still as a favorite, as I had said after the Belgium game. To me, Egypt is still the favorite of this group. Sorry, Belgium is not what I thought they were. Egypt did their job today. They got it done, and hoping that they can progress long in this tournament. Big ups to Mo Salah, big ups to Zico. Ashore played another great game. Marmoush was great in the offense. I don't remember the keeper, Chaubert. I'm sorry if I mispronounced that, but I don't remember him having much to do in this game. He did have a few saves here and there, but I don't think anything was too spectacular. But hey, he was secure in the bag. He played his part, and he played a crucial part to only being able to stay with a 1-goal disadvantage for the majority of the game for Egypt. He kept them in. He did his part. Again, nothing too special, but he did what he had to do. Better showing from Hani today. Great play on the right flank right there. Overall, as I mentioned, great game from the Egyptians, and this is not to diminish New Zealand's game. They still did their part. They were unfortunate not to walk away with the point from this game, but I still have confidence in them and the way they're playing and the way Belgium is playing. Don't be surprised if they come up on top of them. They're still going to try to play for that draw, as I know it benefits them, and they could still try to squeeze one out with that. But I can see them going on the offensive in one or two and being a little bit more clinical against them and getting that win. So don't be surprised if New Zealand can squeeze out that win, sir, against Belgium. And that'll do it for this one. We're getting closer and closer to seeing who's going to be advancing from each group. We're getting deep into the round 2 of games of this tournament in the group stages. Hopefully the ones after this get better and we have a great end to it on round 3 and we get nothing but better games going forward. If you did like the video, I would really appreciate if you can like and subscribe, as that does mean a lot for the channel. And hopefully I get to catch you again soon on the next one.